Hey there, everybody. Happy Monday to you. Welcome again to Mondays with Mike. I am Chief Meteorologist Mike Iskovitz here from Fox 26. Three topics I'd like to talk about to you today. First of all, hope you had a great weekend. It was a huge weekend here in Houston. It was a huge weekend in the Iskovitz household because of the Taylor Swift Eras Tour, which my daughters and my wife and their friends and everything went to on Saturday, and it was like the greatest thing since the history of ever. I didn't go. I stayed home with the dogs, but they had an amazing time. So we'll talk about that a little bit. Also, some incredible clouds that captivated a lot of you across the sky yesterday in the wake of all the rain that passed through. And then I also want to talk about the fact that, well, the sun's coming out, which is nice because it's a cool Monday for us. The fact that today is National Bucket List Day. You know how there's a national day for everything, right? So today's National Bucket List Day. And I had to really think about it because I'm not that good at that kind of stuff. So we had to, on the news this morning, give our bucket list. And I didn't have anything good to think of at first, or I couldn't come up with anything at first. And then I thought of something. All right. So first things first, really quick, I just want to tell you, I know that some of you are like sick and tired of hearing about Taylor Swift, but I think, and obviously there are a lot of other big stars in the world. I mean, back in my time, obviously, I would say Michael Jackson was probably the biggest star. And, previous to that, you had the Beatles and you had Elvis, and things are different now. But I'll tell you that this tour that Taylor Swift is on right now is the biggest thing that I've ever seen as far as um, the 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 demand. I mean, she sold out three stadiums full of people here in Houston. She's going on to Atlanta. All three nights sold out. She's going to Nashville. She's going to Detroit. I mean, all over, every place she's gone, she sells out three football stadiums consecutively. And then the people who didn't buy tickets from Ticketmaster are paying out the wazoo $500-600 for nosebleed seats just because it's that important. Um, the tour ends this summer in Los Angeles, four sold out shows at SoFi Stadium, which is the stadium where the Los Angeles um, Rams play. So, anyway, it's a big deal. It's hard to get across if you don't have teenagers in your household, if you don't have teenage, daughters or grandkids in the household. It's hard to understand how important Taylor is. Like, you hear, I know this is like getting deep into the weeds, but you hear about terms like soundtrack of your life or voice of a generation, that kind of thing. It's kind of like that. So, and I did think to myself, and maybe you can write down in the comments here, what concert would you like freak out to see? And I mean, like, what would what concert would you be as excited to go to as my girls were to go to Taylor Swift? I've had to think about it because, maybe like some of you, all the bands that I would really like to see are either no longer living, or half the members are no longer living, or maybe they're just too old to tour anymore. Um, or maybe they're in a lot of cases they're still touring, but they have like one original member and like everybody else, So I'm not really into that. But so I figured out what I would be excited to see. Like, I would freak out and I would spend hundreds of dollars on the ticket. This is what it is. Okay, are you ready? Because I'm getting out there right now. This is what it is. So, assuming that the family of John Bonham, the family cryogenically has preserved John Bonham in a, you know, like the Walt Disney thing or whatever. So he's cryogenically preserved somewhere. And there's a mad scientist over in England who reanimated him. And so we find out that John Bonham has been reanimated. We Page, Robert Plant and Jimmy Page come out, make the announcement to the world that John Bonham is alive, and you know, uh, going through you know, relearning the drums and everything. They find John Paul Jones's phone number. They put a Led Zeppelin tour back together with John Bonham, the reanimated John Bonham, back from the dead. I would go to that show. I would pay a lot of money to go to that show. But short of that, I just can't think of anything. So anyway, you let me know in the comments what you would really like to see. I've already seen everybody I want to see. All right. So as crazy as that was, let's move on. I want to share with you a couple of things. The clouds that everybody saw over the weekend that were just oohing and eyeing everybody right here. Oh, you know what? I want to mention this too. Tax-free weekend extended through today. So today's Monday, April 24th, through midnight tonight. You can purchase things like a generator, flashlights, batteries, coolers up to a certain cost, lots and lots of emergency disaster preparedness supplies, tax-free. So you could save that 8.25%. You can go to my Facebook page here, Fox 26 Mike. You could also go to our webpage and look it up. We have a link to all of the eligible items there on our website. So, you know, maybe you've been thinking about buying a generator. I mean, if you buy a $500 generator, you're saving $45 or something. I mean, that's a nice little savings. All right. So this is what I was talking about. This cloud right here that a lot of people were just fascinated by. A lot of people posted pictures, emailed them to me, posted it on our website. Looks like a marble, looks like a bowling ball, looks like slime, you know, like kids make slime. That's sort of like, so what is this? Well, it is a beautiful cloud that has a really interesting name. And the name is Undulatus asperatus. What does that mean? Well, it's Latin, of course. Everything's got to be complicated, just like cumulus is Latin, stratus is Latin, cirrus, all these things come from Latin. So undulatus comes from the same root as the word undulate, which is like to oscillate back and forth. So undulations are waves. And then asperatus comes from a word that means rough, turbulent, coarse, that kind of thing. So it really just means a rough wave cloud or a turbulent wave cloud. And what's really interesting about this particular cloud type is that it didn't receive a name until 2017. Up until then, it was just known as an undulatus cloud. And there are a lot of undulatus clouds. Like, you know, you'll see clouds in the sky that look kind of like ribbed clouds, you know, like these layered rib type clouds. Those are a type of undulatus clouds. But this one has a special name because it's just so unique. So I hope you had a chance to see that. They're most often associated in the vicinity of thunderstorm clouds, like we had yesterday. So very beautiful stuff. All right, so let me ask you these questions. Today is National Bucket List Day. And I was asked on the morning news, okay, Mike, what's the number one thing on your bucket list? And I had to really think. And I told our producer, Janae, at first, I said, well, I don't really have anything, because I always get bucket lists sort of confused with like a to-do list or like a list of goals. Like, okay, I want to lose 5 pounds. Is that a bucket list item? Not really. That's just like something, that's like a New Year's resolution. Cleaning out the closet or something is not a bucket list. But so I had to think about it. And then I realized, yes, this is what my bucket list item is. And those of you who know me, probably it's not a surprise to you. I want a little farm. So that's what I want is my, and I'm not going to like grow cattle for slaughter or anything like that. And I'm not a vegan. Um, although I don't eat a lot of meat. I'm not interested in that. Like I want to have chickens and I want to have goats and I want to have dogs and cats and maybe a pig and maybe like something out there, like a llama or something. And I just want to live there. That's just what I want to do. And have, if I can convince my wife to live this little farm lifestyle with me, that'll be even better. So, you know, one day you'll see me out there, Farmer Ben, Farmer Mike. But I wanted to show you what are the, ooh, is my battery's starting to run out here. What are the top 10 bucket list items that people have? So I found this great website, which is Bucket List HQ, as in headquarters.com. And this is a look at their top 10 list. And here we go. Seeing the Northern Lights. I'd like to do that. Skydiving. I've talked to I have a daredevil, one of my 16-year-olds is a daredevil. She would love to go. So maybe. You never know. Swimming with dolphins. I would like to do that. Let me know if you'd like to do that. I don't know. Find my soulmate. I mean, look, I've been married for 21 years, so I think check that one off the list. Go scuba diving. I would love to go scuba diving. I've been snorkeling a lot. I love snorkeling. I'm a pretty strong swimmer, so I'm not really scared. But scuba diving, there's a learning curve there. I already have a house. I've bought a house twice. And by the way, if you haven't bought a house, just run all the math before you buy a house because it's more expensive than you think it is. Complete a marathon. I'm sorry. Y'all have fun. Go run to your heart's content. I'm not interested. I'll be there for you. I'll hold out a Gatorade for you as you run by. I'm just have no intention of running 26.2 miles or whatever it is. Visit the Grand Canyon. I could do that. That would be kind of fun. Fly in a hot air balloon? Maybe. I'm sure it'd be a beautiful sight. See the pyramids in Egypt. That would be beautiful, yes. But you should Google it if you haven't seen it. There are some really crazy pictures because what people don't understand about the pyramids, and granted, there are a lot of pyramids, but the pyramids that everybody's talking about, the Great Pyramids of Giza and all that, apparently, correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, they're right next to Cairo. Like you have the city and then you have the pyramids like right there. And you can see them through a Taco Bell window. So there are people that'll post this. Like there's literally, you're eating a taco at Taco Bell and the pyramids are right there. And people they think they're like way out in the desert somewhere, but they're actually right there by Cairo. So anyway. So what is on your bucket list? Any of these top 10 fancy, tickle your fancy? Hopefully they do. Yeah, so I'm going with the farm. That's what I'm going with. So if you went to the Taylor show, congratulations. If you didn't, maybe next time. I know it's a lot of money. I know I'm very fortunate that my family had the chance to go. But that being said, we were in line for 4.5 hours to get those tickets. And the tickets were only $89, by the way. I say only. I know it's a lot, but it wasn't as if we paid thousands of dollars. So anyway, it was an amazing thing to see my daughters, how incredibly happy they were. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you very much for joining me. A special shout out, as always, to my mom and my brother for watching all the way through till the end. Have a good one.